Today, I wanted to talk about the situation going on with Adrian Peterson and he being indicted on his on child abuse and causing injury to a child. I've heard many people in my peer group, speak of their experiences as a child and how they had to basically endure, the same type of discipline. I being one of those people. When I was younger, we did wrong. We got our butt whooped. It was that simple. It was a belt. It was with a switch, or whatever else my mother can get her hands on. By the time I turned 8 years old, I didn't need any more whoopings. I understood what was expected of me, and things were good from that point forward. Now there were times where I may have mouthed off to my mom, and I got smacked upside the head, smacked in the mouth, something like that. Nothing serious. It was just it was a reminder. Oh, you were talking to me. My fault. She had to remind me sometimes that I was getting out of hand, but never caused any marks, never drew blood, never caused any whelps or any bruises or anything like that. Only bruises I got was from when my big brother put those hands on me, and that's to be expected growing up. Um, so coming up, I had the philosophy that I mean, disciplining your children, um, physically, it was normal. As long as you don't beat them down. I've grew up with kids in the neighborhood. They got their parents used to beat them down. You know, um, Thankfully, I never had to experience those type of whoopings. But to me, it was normal to spank your kids. Um, I became a father at a late age. I was 39, 40 years old when we had our first child, our only child, and when you become a parent, well, let me go back first. In retrospect, looking at the way that that not only myself but other people in my community, we had similar means of discipline. You got out of hand, you got whooped. Um, in retrospect, looking back, to me, I don't know if it's directly or indirectly, but um, it kind of negatively influenced our coping mechanisms and our ability to effectively deal with conflict in an amicable way, conflict with others, and I mean it's manifested in our community today. Um, People get into it with each other, there will be violence. 9 times out of 10, from what I've seen. I've rarely seen an argument not turn into a fight, unless there were people actively, breaking up both parties. But normally, when there's an argument, within about 10, 15 seconds, somebody was about to get hit. Um, and I'm not sure. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I do know that violence begets violence, and the way that you were taught to deal with um, conflict or things that may seem unfavorable to you or disrespect by others, things of that nature. You settled it with your hands, and nowadays it's not hands, it's with weapons, unfortunately. So, um, so that's kind of where I'm at today. Like I was mentioning earlier, I had my child when I was 39, 40 years old, and you know, I I couldn't imagine whooping my kid. I couldn't imagine even the what I consider to be minor whoopings that I experienced as a child. I just can't do it. So I can't bring myself to to hit that little boy, to be mad at him and hit him out of anger. It's just no. Our son was a blessing. Um, you know, I just couldn't imagine doing anything to hurt him physically. Um, you know, Now it's a challenge. It's a challenge raising kids. It's not easy. They do things that they know they shouldn't do. They test you, but I mean, Come on now, we're the adults. We should be able to handle ourselves, and we should be able to display the behavior that we want our kids to represent us with once they get out into the world, because your children are a representation of you. So, that's how I feel about that. I've definitely evolved on that subject. To me, I don't, I mean, now don't get me wrong. I may thump him on the leg or something, but, I just could not bring myself to snatching him up or whooping him or pulling out a belt and beating my kid. No, I just can't do it. Can't see it. And I won't even insinuate or imply that people who do those types of things don't love their kids. Cause I know my mother loved me. I just feel like I love my boy too much to put him through that type of pain, and I don't want him to be afraid of me. I want to be able to talk to him. Now it's hard. It's hard to communicate with children. Very hard to communicate with them. Sometimes, especially at a very young age. But hey, just like anything, it takes practice, it takes consistency, and persistence. And the more we do it, I feel like the better off that our boy will be. When he grows into a young man and then into an adult. So that's my take on that. I haven't seen the pictures of the child. I heard he had whelps and bruises, and it was just terrible from what I heard. So, that's just too much. So that's my take on that. You have a nice day and take care of your damn kids. Peace.